welcome back to another video from HSTV, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing a really important underlooked topic all about how to avoid burnout at medical school. Now really this video could apply to any student at high school or university studying some kind of really busy course. The reason I highlight medical school in particular is one, because I'm a medical student, but two, because medicine is a really workload heavy subject and it can be quite difficult to juggle work and the rest of life as well. And so hopefully I can help you guys today to get a better feel of that balance. Now the first tip that I'm going to start off with basically applies to all the other things that I'm going to be telling you in this video, and that is organization, or good organization is so important for all aspects of your life, but especially really important if you're studying medicine. So you really need to get yourself in a good routine of things. You kind of need to discipline yourself, tell yourself when you're doing what, and set yourself deadlines, and achievable deadlines is very important. So if you know that you have 30 lectures to do in a week, then if you set yourself a deadline of 2 days, well, that's obviously not really achievable. It's not going to happen, and it's going to actually demotivate you, right? So you need to set an achievable timetable that, maybe you'll say, I want to get all my university work done between Monday and Friday, and that means that I have the weekend free to myself for going out with friends or doing hobbies or spending time with family. And that way actually you don't feel guilty as well, because that's a big thing. Now let's say you've not finished your university work, which is kind of your top priority, and then on the weekend you kind of feel guilty and then you're not able to enjoy your hobbies, but you also have this work that is building up. So organization is a really important thing that you just need to drill into yourself. Set a routine. When are you going to sleep? When are you waking up? And it just helps the flow of everything else run so much smoother, and that way you will really avoid burnout. Now on the topic of routine, I'm going to move on to my next point, which is all about getting a good night's sleep. Now ironically, medical students, out of all people, because they're studying the effect that sleep has on the human body, should be very well slept and rested. However, that is not always the case, because most people I talk to these days, I'll get statements like, oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, oh, because I was binging a Netflix series, or I pulled an all-nighter for an exam. That's nothing to be proud of. And then there's this whole culture around drinking lots of coffee and getting lots of caffeine down you so that you feel more awake. That is not a good thing, and it's not something to be proud of, and it's becoming more and more normal, which is not a good thing. So just because your friends are doing it doesn't mean that you should also do it. Sleep is so important for learning, for memorizing things, for recall, for giving the best version of yourself to your patients actually. So I can't stress enough how important sleep is. I know for me certainly, since I was very young, I was always put into a routine of getting 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Obviously that's reduced down a little bit now, so I get at least 8 hours of sleep. So please get yourself in a habit of that. Now if you can't get to sleep, okay, you need to try and recognize the problem. Why is it that you can't go to sleep? Because our body's circadian rhythm forces us to feel sleepy at certain times and then to wake up at a certain time. So if that's not happening, you need to ask yourself why. And it could be that maybe you're like deficient on iron or something, and that's troubling you going to sleep, and in which case you should go to the doctor, get that fixed, and then you're sorted. But if it's other reasons like anxiety or stress about other parts of your life, then perhaps you need to go and address those issues first so that you can fix the wider issue of getting to sleep on time. Now, just like sleeping, eating is also very important, believe it or not. And I can't tell you the number of times I hear things like, I haven't had my breakfast, oh, I didn't eat any breakfast today, oh, I'm just had about 3 cups of coffee today. That's not good. That's not good culture, okay? We need to change that amongst medical students, right? We know the benefits of eating, we know what a good diet looks like, however, a lot of students just don't. And the reasons for that vary between being stressed, not having time, forgetting, etc. But it shouldn't be an excuse, because we need fuel in order to work properly and in order to achieve all of the other things that are going around our lives. So, first tip, breakfast, okay? Please have breakfast, okay? I know a lot of people, when they're going on placements, especially surgery, right? If you're going into surgery, please have breakfast. This is not strictly related to the topic of burnout, but I'm telling you, please have a good breakfast before you leave the house or before you begin your day. I also hate breakfast. I don't feel hungry in the morning. However, I always force myself to eat something to start my day, and it really helps, okay? The next thing is lunch, so please have something between breakfast and dinner. Sometimes people will just work throughout the day, revising for exams or whatever, and just not eat anything. That's not good, okay? You will feel yourself getting really exhausted, and we don't want to get at that point where you feel so drained out that you just dread doing anything else. That is not the point we want to get at, because the more times you get that dreadful feeling, the more likely you are to get absolutely burnt out and not have motivation to do anything. So please follow a routine. If you're a medical student watching this, you will know that our human brains love a routine, and we hate it when things are unpredictable. We hate it when things don't go the right way and how we're wanting them to. So have, a bowl of fruit with you, eat some like nice nuts or something, get some protein, and I don't need to tell you all of this, right? But try and incorporate healthy items into your diet as much as you can, and have a routine where you don't stay too hungry for too long. Alright, another way to avoid burnout is to have a really nice support system around you. Now, this is kind of relevant for anyone who's going through any type of anxiety, or even if you feel that you're so stressed and burnt out to the point where you're almost feeling depressed, okay? It's so important to have a nice group of friends with you, or have a family member or someone to talk to when you're going through a really stressful time. This can just help you to sort of de-stress and let things out. It does wonders just talking to someone, just letting your feelings spill out. And it doesn't have to be like anything deep. It could just be, oh, I'm so stressed about this essay I'm having to write, don't feel motivated at all. And actually, if you talk to your peers, other medical students, you'll realize that you're actually all in the same boat, and then it doesn't feel so bad, and it can give you that extra boost of motivation to go and do a task when you see that actually everyone else is kind of struggling with it as well, and it's okay to feel that way. Now, having a hobby or something that you can do in your free time also does wonders to de-stress as well. So I know a lot of people in high school who are doing all these amazing hobbies, doing lots of sports and things like that they really enjoyed, but for some reason when they come into medical school, they let go of those hobbies because they say everything's too busy now, I don't have time for this, and it's not their priority. However, to get that balance between working and resting, you kind of need hobbies in there somewhere. So please take some time out in your week to give some time to something that you enjoy doing, just for the sake of you enjoying doing it. Now, as I was mentioning before, you're not going to enjoy doing that hobby if you know you've not done the week's work, right? So this is where the whole thing about organization and having a good timetable and a routine comes in. So you kind of need that first, so that you can put in, okay, so Saturday afternoon, I'm free, not going to think about anything else, and I'm just going to focus my attention to this hobby, and it will really do wonders in helping you to de-stress. So I touched on this briefly about sports being a really good hobby, but actually any form of exercise that you can fit into your day, even if it's just a light walk around a park or something, can do you a lot of good, both physically and mentally too. So obviously, physically, yeah, you'll know it's great for your circulation, and I'm actually going to expand on that a little bit, because I have felt that over COVID, when I was mostly in my room, sitting, slouching over a computer screen, it was not nice for my back, and when I used to walk around, it just didn't feel good. I just felt myself being a bit groggy and always feeling the need to sort of stretch or do something. So if you can get around and get out of this kind of sedentary lifestyle, then it's obviously going to help you. But actually mentally as well, you'll know that it releases lots of happy chemicals in your body that will help you to de-stress as well. Alright, so I don't want to make this video unrealistic, right? Because I know that there will be weeks in medical school where you have very important priorities, which means that you can't have time for hobbies, you might not have time to see friends, your routine is a bit all over the place, and you're struggling to organize. So in this kind of situation, the least I would recommend is for you to take some short breaks. And what I mean by that is if you're working on, let's say, a word placement for like 8 hours, please take some like 15-20 minute breaks just to yourself to literally zone out and just stop yourself getting to the point where you are overwhelmed. Now, this whole burnout situation, I like to picture it like a car heating meter. Now, I don't know what the technical term for that is, by the way, but if you imagine you have like a meter, okay, and you have this red zone right here where you're really heated up and about to burn out, right? So let's say it's the end of the summer holidays, you're like pretty much down here. You're not really burnt out at all. But then as the university term starts, you kind of start heating up a bit. Now, at this point, when you get to this middle to sort of last third point, you sort of take some breaks, you sort of have some hobbies, and every time you do something like that, this meter falls back a little bit. And what we don't want is for you to keep working until you get to this red zone where you blast and you're so exhausted and you're not motivated to do anything. So always think of this like a meter, and please set that meter back as well. Don't let it slide all the way to the red zone. Alright everybody, well that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you have found it useful to some extent, and I know that for every single one of you out there, you will have different things going on in your lives, you'll have different priorities and different things that will work for you. But please just take this video as a reminder to look after yourselves, because remember, if you guys are being kind to yourself and you guys are in the right state of mind, then everything else follows through with that. But if you're not feeling so good, then there's no point in anything else that's happening around you. So let me know kind of if you've ever felt burnt out, if you have ever felt medical being really stressful, and kind of what you've done to conquer that, because we are such a lovely community here on this channel, and all of my subscribers I know are so lovely. So please don't be afraid to share your thoughts in the comments or DM me on the HSTV Instagram. I would love to hear what you are up to. And yes, that is the end of this video. I will see you next time. Goodbye.